built to win. Applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Diffuse. Mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like told me, keep on running, toes they gon' take them. Refuse to lose, built to win. Applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win. Yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win. Applied myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse.
All right, welcome to Refuse to Lose, the weekly special. All right, this is the AFC West division panel. We're excited about that. Before we get started, let's introduce who we got on so far. We have two people who are not strangers to the show. The first person we got is my man Carl. How you doing, Carl?
How you doing, Joe? Appreciate you having me on the show as always. I'm excited to see how the show goes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, and then also we have the host and founder of On the Field podcast on Spotify. We got Matt. What's up, Matt? How you doing?
Hey, Joe. How you doing? Thanks for inviting me, man. Can't wait.
Yes, sir. You know, when it comes to football, y'all the two people that comes to mind. All right, so we had to get both of y'all on this panel. All right, so before we get started, make sure y'all like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share this video with somebody that y'all know that can come on and watch with us live, and use that comment section, guys. We can see all the comments you guys are putting down. And everybody that's on early so far, we appreciate you guys for coming in early and tuning in with us. And last but not least, enjoy the rest of the show. All right, we're gonna have a good time. So look, we're gonna talk about this AFC West, which supposedly supposed to be the toughest division in the NFL on paper. All right, any of these teams could come out on top on first place. And I'm curious to hear what I gotta say. And we're going to start from worst to first. We're going to end it with the Chiefs because they won the division, and we're going to start off with the Broncos, all right? So, anybody didn't really have a particular order. I guess we could start with you, Carl. Well, matter of fact, start with you, Mac. I know you, the Broncos was your disappointment from last year, all right? So,
Mine too.
So, you said you too?
Mm-hmm. Remember I told you last year Broncos was one of my sleeper teams.
Oh, yeah, you did say that. Yeah, you did. All right, so both of y'all had high hopes for the Broncos, and it didn't work out the way you guys thought it would, all right? So, look, Matt, Broncos, they made a huge acquisition this offseason by trading for Russell Wilson, all right? And we know the last time what happened when Russell Wilson had a legit defense behind him. He was Super Bowl bound, all right? So let's talk about the Broncos. Where do you see the Broncos finishing the AFC West? And tell us why.
All right, so as I said last year, they were my sleeper team until they hit that little stumble and just couldn't move anywhere. But I had them at 9-8, sneaking into the wild card weekend and going a little deep in the playoff. But they ain't get nowhere near it. But that's what they were missing based off everything they had statistically on that team: defense, top 10, maybe even arguably top 5, running game, not just one running back. Uncle Mel can still run, you know what I mean? So, they had a vicious running game, which, by the way, is something Russell Wilson has been missing since the days of Marshawn Lynch. And last time I checked, when you had a smart quarterback like Russell Wilson, when you had a great running back like Marshawn Lynch, when you had a great kicker that the Broncos also do, and you have a top 5 defense, that's a Super Bowl team. They have already proven that. Russell Wilson has already proven that. Even though he lost one against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, he still made it with that type of offense and with that type of defense. So now you fast forward to the Broncos. That's the only thing the Broncos were actually missing on the team was a smart quarterback. Nobody is asking quarterbacks to come in here and automatically throw 80 yards. And they're almost not even really asking you to come in and throw for 300. You know, no, that's just the style of the offense that you're coming into. They want somebody smart and capable. That's what the Broncos have been looking for. Somebody smart, capable, not turning the ball over, can make big plays when they need it. And you know what? A team like the Denver Broncos could do amazing things with Russell Magic. I mean, amazing things. I got them going 14-3 and winning the division, and quite possibly, if they can get past the Buffalo Bills, they could be in the Super Bowl. I do possibly see that as an AFC championship game, Broncos versus the Bills. But I have, based on their schedule, now things can change. ACLs have not torn through training camp yet. So we have no idea right now, based off of what we're seeing. All I'm seeing is him going to these different fields, having fun with his guys, getting warmed up. But we won't know nothing until training camp. But if all goes well and they answer every question, if you look at their schedule, it's not hard at all. They could easily be 14-3, possibly maybe if not 14, I'll give them 12-5. I'll give them 12-5. I think I have them breaking even in the division. And I have the Raiders at 12-5 underneath them, because I do have the Chiefs at 10-7. I don't have the Chiefs with a bad record, but I have them at 10-7, which you know, by default will put them in last place unless they can top the Chargers, which I have in third place. I have them in third place at 11-6. So it's their division itself is going to be like a winning division, but that's what's going to be hard is there's going to be a lot of wins, but unless you're collecting 14 wins, I don't see 14 wins on the Chiefs record. I don't see that in the schedule. But again, we haven't gone through training camp. I haven't seen with Juju, but we'll get to the Chiefs when that time comes. But right now, I got the Broncos going 14-3.
Wow. All right, go ahead, Carl.
All right, so I too, like him, had the Broncos as my sleeper team last year, and I think what messed that up for real was a lot of the linebackers on the Broncos got hurt left and right. If y'all remember, I think before the Browns game, they traded for Kenny Young because they lacked such linebacker depth because of injuries, like Josie Jewell and AJ Johnson, and all of them got hurt. So that might have impacted their defense. Or not even, it might have. It did impact their defense a lot. So I think with their linebackers getting healthy, they should be good. 14-3 to me is kind of crazy. I don't have them at 14-3. I love Russ to death, but I don't think Russ changes them like that, especially when we have the unknowns at receiver like the Broncos have. We all know Jerry Jeudy. Well, we all think we know Jerry Jeudy is good, but Jerry Jeudy has to show us that he can step up and take that next step. I like Cortland Sutton. I like Tim Patrick, but they have to show us that they can be those guys that we think that they are. Until they show us, well, Cortland Sutton kind of showed us a little bit, but until they show us, we can't go that big of a leap from what they are now to 14 wins. Now, granted, Russ is a great quarterback, and that can help because Russ is different than Drew Lock, completely different than Drew Lock. Yes. But again, they still have to show us that they can be those guys. Broncos, like he said, Melvin Gordon can still run the ball. I remember I told my coworker last year, he was like, Melvin Gordon sucked. He lost. I'm like, no, he didn't. Melvin Gordon is still good. He went to the Broncos. He has the exact same carries as Javonte Williams, and he showed that he's still productive. He almost had 1,000 yards when he split 50-50 with a rookie running back. That's crazy to me because you're splitting directly half of your carries. If he takes half of that rookie's carries, he's easily over 1,000. So, like he said, they got a good run game. Russ is going to bring him. He's going to bring the play action. You can't load the box against Russ because he's not Drew Lock. You can't dare Russ to beat you. Russ is going to have a better offensive line. I just don't see 14 wins. I didn't look at the schedule, so I can't tell you how many wins. I just know that, like you said to start the show, this division is loaded. I don't count out the Chiefs. I don't care what happened. Like a lot of people counted out the Chiefs early in the year. I still said they were one of the best teams. They still make the AFC Championship game. The Raiders boosted their roster. They're a playoff team that got better. The Chargers got better by getting Khalil Mack. That end pressure is crazy. So I think that I have the Broncos finishing third. I think I have the Chargers finishing last. I'm not going to, and this is strictly because I trust Mahomes and I trust Andy Reid. I got the Chiefs going first, and I have the Raiders at second. And Yeah, man. Like I said, I love the. Obviously, anybody loves the pickup of Russ, but the receivers is my question mark for the Broncos.
Yeah, so I'm more so leaning towards what Carl said. All right, so like I got the Broncos finishing third in the division. So, but I know we talked about Russ a lot and everything, talked about the receivers, but the main thing about, and we talked about Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, but the main thing about the Broncos is going to be their defense. All right, so I think the defense is going to be stout. You know, they picked up Gregory from the Cowboys, who I thought was a good pickup at the linebacker position, and then they already got good corners. I mean, they already have a good defense. You know, so like I said, the last time we saw Russell Wilson with a great defense, because ever since they paid him, you know, they've been first round exit at the playoffs, or they didn't make the playoffs because everything is basically on Russell Wilson. And to be honest with you, every year I feel like Russell Wilson's in the MVP candidate the first half of the season, and then he throws his way out of that candidacy by just throwing interception to interception. And he plays terrible towards the end of the season almost every year. You know, so do y'all know he never had an MVP vote in his whole career? That's crazy, right? I found out today. You said what?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know that. That's what I found out today. He never had an MVP vote in his whole career. But almost every year, don't it feel like he's like a favorite in the beginning, in the first half of the season? So now this year, I don't think he will be an MVP candidate only because he's not going to wow work with numbers. They're going to be carried by that defense, right? He's going to be more. I'm not going to call him a game manager, but he's going to be like that quarterback, like you said, Matt, that don't have to throw the 300 yards. He's got to make the smart decisions to get them to the victory line. Now, I do think there will be some MVP candidates in the division, but it ain't going to be Russ. But so I got the Broncos finishing third. Also, that would be crazy and a great of a season if he could come in here first time in this division against Patrick Mahomes, against Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, and win that division going 14-3. That would be amazing for his career. All right. So if that happens, he will go to Super Bowl. But I don't think that's going to happen. You know, I got
one correction. Not 14-3, 13-4. I made a miss. I made a miss right.
13-4. Kind of crazy to me.
But here's why. Week 1, Seahawks. Week 2, Texans. Week 3, 49ers. Week 4, at the Raiders. That's their first loss.
You don't got them beating the 49ers? I mean, beating the 49ers?
I got them beating the 49ers. I got them beating the 49ers. I really do. But you know why? Because it's only if it's Trey Lance, he's only going to be 3 weeks into the NFL. I don't see him beating that Denver Broncos defense. I don't see Denver losing at home to Trey Lance.
They're going to be more dangerous with Trey Lance, though.
They might be, okay, and that's fine. And that might progress later. This is week 3 of the NFL, where defense is barely played. Defense is barely played that great, but the Denver Broncos will come in as one of the hottest defenses in the NFL this year. I mean, based on their schedule, week 5, they got the Colts. Week 6, at the Chargers, that's a loss. Week 7, they got the Jets. Week 8, they got the Jaguars. Week 9 is a bye week. Week 10 is the Titans. Week 11 is at home against the Raiders. That's a win. Week 12, the Panthers. Week 13, at the Ravens. It's going to be a tough game. That is the game that could flip where they could stay 13-4 or drop 12-5. Because if they lose to the Ravens, that's they could drop 12-5. That I don't mind it. I did give them the win though. I gave them the win against the Ravens.
Don't see on the Colts.
Yeah, the Colts game and the Titans game.
And the Titans, there you go.
I have no faith in the Titans this year. I have absolutely no faith in the Titans.
Brown, who was hurt almost all last year, and they still was number 1 seed.
I got no faith in the Titans this year because Tannehill gonna take I'm telling you, he's gonna drop. I promise you. Everything about the Titans is gonna drop.
Big boy in the backfield,
but you want to talk about a team that's gonna rely on their defense. The Titans is gonna be a team that rely on their defense.
And they run a game.
That's fine. But one thing I know about Russell Wilson in a running game when they're together is as long as they are in field goal range, they will always score. You see what I'm saying? It don't have to be a touchdown with a Russell Wilson team like that can run the ball like they do. All they have to do is get in scoring range, and the Denver Broncos have a beautiful kicker. One I plan on drafting in fantasy.
Ask Buda Baker when they're in the red zone what happens with Russell Wilson.
I mean that's an anomaly though.
I mean, I got them beating the Chiefs at home. I got them beating the Cardinals. I got them losing to the Rams in week 16. I got them losing to the Chiefs in week 17, and then I got them beating the Chargers in week 18. That's between 12-5, 13-4. They don't have a hard schedule. They do not have a hard schedule at all.
I don't automatically count the Colts game as a win. I don't count the 49ers game as an automatic win. And I don't count the Titans as an automatic win.
The only reason why I'm giving that's week 3 in the NFL, I just don't see them doing that. I don't see them losing to the 49ers in week 3.
I'm gonna tell you
if
why.
It was later in the season, maybe, but not week 3.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because Trey Lance, if he starts the season as the starter, is going to be his 3rd regular season game, but he had a year to learn. He's going to have a preseason to fine-tune himself. And then he has 2 other weeks to, get early mistakes out, things like that. And
who's running the ball for the 49ers?
Elijah Mitchell.
Okay.
You did last year.
Yeah. Hopefully he's healthy by week 3. Hopefully he'll be beat up in week 1 and 2. And he can play by week 3. Who's stopping passes for the 49ers on that defense? Because that secondary is not good.
I feel you because I'm going to say Jason Verrett, and if you say, well, hopefully he makes it to week 3, I will give you that because he has not played a healthy season in a while. But if Jason Verrett can get back to that Pro Bowl form he was with the Chargers, Jason Verrett is a problem.
And I do agree with that. But see, and that's why I said all of these numbers I'm giving you guys, I haven't even put this on my Instagram page yet. This is all preliminary because I don't make anything firm until after these ACL tears are changed.
Yeah,
because no matter what the schedule is, the Broncos on paper could look great, but you miss 1 or 2 of those great players that I'm depending on. Well, your record shifts that fast.
Yeah, but the Broncos also lost corners. They also lost Kyle Fuller and they lost Bryce Callahan, who I thought Bryce Callahan is like a top 5 slot corner.
I have no faith in Kyle Fuller.
Well, that's cool. Kyle Fuller gonna turn his career around in Baltimore. He's gonna get the job done here. So
you know why? You know why he's gonna do it too?
He's
gonna be like Terrell Suggs. He's gonna hide behind everybody else greatness.
That's cool. That's cool with me. I'm glad. If he can keep Marcus Peters and Marlon can travel on the slot.
And you know what? What I'm gonna hate about that? That's gonna open up so many picks for Kyle Fuller. I'm gonna hate that.
Yeah, talking about Terrell Suggs later in his career, but
I hate it, dude.
But to my point, the Broncos, like I said, that they do have a really good defense. But I think losing those 2 hurt. And I'm not really a fan of Darby. Like Darby is cool, but Darby is more so a corner that relies on speed. I tell the story all the time. I was at a Maryland camp, not because I was getting recruited by them. I'm not that good. No, I was just at a camp. And I was in line for one-on-ones, and Darby was there. And I seen a receiver bake Darby, cook him, but he wasn't fast. So Darby caught up because Darby's faster than him, and he got the pick. But this is a dude that cooked Darby. Darby is Ron Darby. I don't know who this guy is, and I'm talking about 10-yard separation on a route. And like I said, Darby just had the catch-up speed, but you can't rely on that in the NFL because everybody's fast. So, you might have PS2 locking it down on one side. Darby might be getting cooked. I do like that they have Kwan Williams from the 49ers. I think Kwan Williams is really good, but I don't know about. Go ahead.
If Russell Wilson's season this year is progressively towards MVP, that's where the 14 or the 13 and 4 come from. If he's an average season, meaning he's not even in the MVP vote, you can drop it to about 10 and 7,
that's
11 and 6.
More
I don't think he has a great statistical.
It has to be. He has to be on the MVP level. It has to be United. He's thrown 48. He threw 48 touchdowns, or even 42. He threw for 45,000 yards. That's he threw for less than 10 interceptions because he is known for hitting them double digits and picks. So and because of what the Broncos defensively and offensively are just made up of, his numbers can get to that mark this year. It would have to be this year. This would have to be your MVP year to do that.
Yeah.
You said he's never won it, so this be the time he do it. Everybody said Tom Brady ain't never won 7 rings, and he got 7 of them beautiful things sitting on his fingers with 2 different teams. Nobody thought he was gonna walk into the Broncos. I did. I knew he was
gonna walk. That Bucs team is much better to me than
the Broncos.
It is, but not many people can just walk in and do that. It doesn't matter who you are. You have to be. It just has to work.
But they almost did the playoffs with Jameis put up a 30 for 30. So that Bucs team.
Plus the Bucs are in the worst division in the division. He got to play the Chiefs twice, the Raiders twice, and the Chargers twice. So that alone that he's not going 13 and 4.
Yeah, I'm more so on the 10 and 7.
I do think they are going to win double digit games. I do think he will finish 3rd. in the division. But
No, I don't think he would finish third. He would have to have an average season to finish third. And if you got them kind of weapons and you have an average season, well, the Denver Broncos actually wasted that trade then. He can't come in here and have an average season. It's almost like we have to expect Russell Wilson to come out this year and actually put up those kind of numbers.
Yeah, but that goes to my point about me personally having receivers as my question mark for the Broncos. Like, you can say on paper they have weapons, but it's yet to be like really shown that those weapons.
And here's why I hate that. Here's why I hate that, because what quarterbacks have they had to show it?
I mean, and that's a valid point, right? But
my only knock on Cortland Sutton is he got to stay healthy. I've seen him explode when he does have great games. He is a monster to deal with, but he can't stay healthy.
Yeah, I said that. I said that Cortland Sutton has shown it. But then to me, you got guys like DJ Chark who made the Pro Bowl in Jacksonville.
And that's
in Jacksonville.
I'm gonna be honest with you. DJ might be one of the smartest men alive, because however he finessed his way out of there and ended up on the Broncos. I'm telling you right now, he's my sleeper for fantasy. And I hate that I'm talking to y'all about this because we getting this league together.
Yeah.
You said who's your sleeper?
DJ Chark.
Oh, he's in Detroit.
Oh, I thought. That's right. He's still my sleeper.
I have him as a sleeper too, but he's in Detroit.
Yeah, he's in Detroit. I don't know why I said wrong, but yeah, he's in Detroit. No, they have who is the they have Cam. I can't remember his last name. No. Hamilton.
No. The Broncos guy.
Their third receiver is Hamilton, right?
I think they got KJ Hamler. They had
Hamler. I said Hamilton. KJ Hamler. He's my sleeper. That's what I meant to say. He's my sleeper.
All right.
Because he's catching all those short and open routes for Russell. I'm telling you, Russell's going to have less interceptions in his career this year than he's ever had.
I can see that too.
I can see that, yeah.
And that's the thing. If he has less interceptions, that means he's having more completions and more strikes to the end zone.
No, because
I was not necessarily
less responsibility on Russ. That's what's going to be this year, I think.
Because y'all forget what Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon do. They're not strict running backs. They both catch out the backfield. Something Marshawn Lynch didn't do, which was not a detriment. But what I'm saying is Russell has so many outlets. I don't think people are understanding how dangerous it's going to be to play these Denver Broncos. He's going to put his defense in so many positions that they're going to destroy. There's going to be I tell you, Russell Wilson may be the worst person to draft in fantasy. Why? Because of those up and down numbers, because they're going to lean on whichever's working that week. If his arm is working that week, Russ putting up 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. If the running game is working, he may only put up 200 with a touch, because the running backs are killing it. They're going to go where their offense goes, but they're going to have so many weapons. It's going to be very hard to deal with the Denver Broncos this year.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next team. All right, the next team we got the Broncos. So Matt, me and Carl got them finishing third. You got them finishing first in the division. All right, so going from worst to first, that would be amazing by Russ, and that would be a good career milestone for him. All right, so the next team we got to talk about, the next team who did not make the playoffs, they lost in week 17 and failed to make the playoffs. The Los Angeles Chargers. All right. They also made some moves this summer. This off season. Adding Khalil, the biggest move was adding Khalil Mack and JC Jackson. All right. So, and yeah, they're like they ended. They lost to the Raiders. You know, was it overtime? They lost overtime, right?
Yeah.
They lost overtime to the Raiders. And they got a young QB going to his third year, a new head coach going to his second year. A lot of people beat him up last year because he went for a lot of fourth down. But the Chargers did convert the most fourth down in the NFL last year. So, you know, it depends on what happens that day, right? So, talk to me, Carl. You're going to start off with us here. Talk to me about the Chargers. What you feel about them?
All right, so you brought up the key acquisitions on defense with J.C. Jackson, Khalil Mack, and Joey Bosa. I feel like it's very dangerous. They have what is that D tackle name? Jesus Christ, I forgot it. I remember their backup D tackle name. I cannot remember the starter right now, which is crazy. I can't remember his name. It's going to come to me, but I think they got Derwin at safety. Nazir Adderley, I like. They got Michael Davis and who's the damn slide? Is Bryce Callahan? I think Bryce Callahan went to the Chargers. I think that was another key acquisition.
Bryce Callahan, I don't know.
But what I will say is about the Chargers is Herbert gets all this praise, which is deserved. I'll give you that. It's deserved. But he had so much talent on offense.
Yes.
And has yet to make a playoff. And people still put him over guys like my guy, Lamar, who doesn't have talent, but yet wins double digits and goes to the playoffs. So with Herbert, it's just a matter of you showing me that you can take that next step and lead your team to the playoffs. You got a guy like Kenyan Allen, who Kenyan Allen was healthy for the most part last year. You got Mike Williams, who's a deep threat, who's also, for the most part, healthy. You have another speedster in Jalen Guyton. They pick up DeAndre Carter from y'all.
Yeah.
So the only reason why I have the Chargers finishing in fourth is, like I said, he has to show me he can take that next step and go into the playoffs. He got blown out by us, and we were half a team. It was like 42-6.
Yeah.
And like I said, we were half a team. So, and I also wanted to say one thing about the Chargers. The Raiders were not going to take a tie. Stop blaming that coach for calling a timeout. He was not going to take the tie. He was going to take a field goal, and if he missed, he was cool with a tie. But they got the first down and got it closer. He was just going like, all right, this game is crazy. We're going to have the ball last. We're either going to win it or, yes, we'll tie. But we're not going to just run it out and not attempt to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
People who say they were just going to take the tie, like,
because they would have played the Chiefs if they would have took the tie.
Huh?
They would have had to play the Chiefs in the first round if they would have took the tie, the Raiders.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember if what the scenario. Only from scenario I remember from them taking a tie is that both teams would have got in.
Yeah, they would have played the Chiefs the first round of Raiders.
Yeah,
so the Raiders weren't doing that.
And I don't even think that I don't want to say the Raiders was ducking the Chiefs either, because me personally, I would love to play my division rival in the playoffs. I know them better than a regular team, and they actually played them well. If I remember correctly, last year, both games.
No, the Raiders got blown out.
They did.
The last time they played, they put like I think they scored. No. Over 40 points on them. It was like
wasn't that the home game? No. Well, it would have been in the Chiefs home anyway, so I guess that's a moot point. But I would rather play an opponent I know rather than an opponent I don't know. But like I said, the Chargers, they got to show me that they can take the next step and be a playoff team. And also with the coach, I don't blame the coach for being like ballsy on fourth down. I feel like you play the game to win. Yeah. And you show that you have faith in your team by going for it. Yeah, some people might say, well, that shows you don't got no faith in your defense. Derwin was banged up. I think Chris Harris was semi-banged up. So even if he did not show faith in his defense, he kind of had reasons to, but I don't think that's the reason. I think he just had faith in Herbert and his offense with all those weapons that they can't stop us 4 downs to get 10 yards. And some teams did, sometimes they didn't. I'm not going to blame the guy. I have a coach that does that. John Harbaugh will go for it in a heartbeat. He'll ask Lamar, hey, you want to go for this? All right, cool. Let's run this. And I love it. I love it to death. I defended him on that 2-point conversion against the Steelers. I defended him on that 2-point conversion against the Packers. So I love a guy that's going to say, you know what? I'm betting on my team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I agree. So you got a Chargers finish in fourth, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I got a Chargers finish in fourth. You know, and I like the scariest thing about the Chargers is I think Joey Bosa had his best season when he had Ingram next to him. So now he about to have Khalil Mack next to him, which is like that's a scary part about the Chargers, you know. So, but Justin Herbert, I do think he will get better. I mean, when I say better, I'm not talking about stats, stuff like that. I'm talking about the way he played the game. Because last year he had some bad moments against the Ravens. He had bad moments against the Patriots. He had bad moments. Even against Philly, he had bad moments. You know, so it was times when Justin Herbert could look like one of the best QBs in the NFL. Then there's times you could tell he's a second-year quarterback, you know. So I do think he's going to make less of those mistakes this year. I'm not sure about the numbers-wise, but I do think he will look more of a good quarterback. Now, the thing about them is the running back situation. Didn't they draft the running back, if I'm not mistaken? Right? They drafted the guy
from Isaiah. They got Isaiah Spiller. from Mississippi State. I'm on
Yeah.
their depth chart right now. So I was right about Bryce Callahan. And two players I forgot, excuse me, Joe, were Asante Samuel Jr., who I really liked out of Florida State, and Kenneth Murray, the linebacker. Two good players that I completely forgot.
Yeah, and the J.C. Jackson pickup was good too. I mean, this team got better on deep. This team got better on paper, but the rest of the division did too. I think every other team in the division got are better. I think their acquisitions were better. Besides the Chiefs, maybe, but I think the Chiefs will surprise a lot of people without Tyreek Hill. We're gonna get to that, but like the Raiders and the Broncos, I think they both had a better offseason than the Chargers. Even though the Chargers landed Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson, two great defensive players. So not much to say about the Chargers. I do think they will finish fourth, but I do think Justin Herbert will have a better year, not stat-wise, but just eye test. You will see that, okay, he is probably a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. So that's my piece on that. So go ahead, Matt.
Well, Herbert was a top 5 quarterback last year. He threw for 5,000 yards. He threw for 38, number 3 in touchdowns, 38 touchdowns. He was 65% of completions. So when I look at Justin Herbert, who is, in my eyes, one of the most dangerous quarterbacks next to Josh Allen. Okay. I looked at that team last year at those losses and said, well, if they could stop the run, maybe they wouldn't have so many losses. Or maybe if they didn't get behind in scoring and the coach didn't panic and start running these 5-spread offenses, and then they start turning the ball over because they're trying to force the ball down the field, maybe they could have made the playoffs. So I do put a lot of that on the coach, because I saw more games when that coach get put in his place, he gets overshadowed by the opposing coach. And you saw that in the Ravens game, especially. He got put in his young place, and he panicked. I don't like panic coaches. I don't like it. I'm sorry. I don't like coaches that run to the 5-spread when things get rough. When it's like they abandon their game plan and want to start flinging the ball all over the place just because it got a little tough. It's like they forget their identity, which they barely really had. Because, again, they could not stop the run. They couldn't keep a healthy running back on the field. Don't get me wrong. When Austin Eckler balled out, he balled out. But then he's out for like 4 games in a row. That hurts. That hurts your chemistry. You know what I mean? You gotta have somebody come in and fill in for the way Austin Eckler plays, or you gonna change your game plan for this young guy who has to run his way? That's not gonna happen. Now you gotta adjust your whole game plan for 4 weeks. You're not winning for them 4 weeks like that. It's just not gonna happen. I think Justin Herbert did absolutely brilliant last year. Won me every one of my fantasy leagues. I have problems with any of his games.
Oh, Matt, against us, Justin Herbert did not play great against us in the opening game. So that was not the coach's fault. Against the Cowboys, he did not play great. I know those penalties happened, but Justin Herbert did not play great against the Cowboys. He did not play great against the Ravens. He did not play great. To me, I know they dropped 27 points, but he didn't play good.
He threw for 5,000 yards with an old receiver and a big man who can't catch.
You know why? Because they had a high-scoring game against Pittsburgh. They had a high-scoring game against Cleveland. They had like 4 games when they scored like 40-some points. And it was like
and that defense couldn't stop crap.
Right. I mean, but I'm not
putting none of their errors or implications on Herbert at all last year. The man threw for 5,000 yards. What else can he do? I mean, he's going to have bad games. Yes, in his second year, he has a few bad games. Great. But he threw for 5,000 yards still. He threw for more yards than Justin Herbert and Mahomes. The only other person that threw for 5 yards was a 47-year-old quarterback. Because his division sucks.
I just think a lot of people.
Now, mind you, I do have them only going 11-6, and I do have them in 3rd place. So it's not like I have them above, because they have a tough schedule. Chargers have a pretty tough schedule, but with their schedule, they can come out with 11 wins.
My only thing is, I think a lot of people remember the Raiders game at the end, which he showed moxie, he showed fight, he did all that, but he still lost. And people remember, I think, that Saints game where I think, was he down a lot that Saints game and came back? I can't remember if they came back and won. But it was a Saints game on Monday or Sunday night. I'm trying to find it.
How did he play the Saints last year?
Then it might have been his rookie year. But
So
I remember he played the Saints, and he showed fight in that game too. I'm trying to remember because I think that's the
rookie
game.
year, he threw for 4,300 yards, and he didn't even play a full season.
It's probably his rookie year because last year I don't think they played the Saints.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I think they remember those games where he showed fight, being down, trying to find it.
It was a shootout. People remember that game.
Which one?
That Cleveland game last year when they both scored over 40-some points. When it was scoring was every drive.
And the saddest part about that was it was because the Browns were running their touchdowns all over the that was, you see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, so
what is Herbert supposed to do if that defense can't even stop the run? Like that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So the game I'm talking about is the Chargers Saints, but like y'all said, it was his rookie year and they lost in OT. So he shows fight, but you got to win those games. Like again, everybody says it's his second year. But they put him, and I don't want to make this into about Lamar Jackson, but that's who they put him above, and they used the second year excuse. But Lamar, his second year, won MVP, and he had 36 touchdowns, 6 picks. With, again, nowhere near the weapons as Herbert. So you can't give Herbert the excuse of it's his second year, look what he did. But then y'all be like, oh, Lamar can't throw the ball. Lamar can't do this. Lamar can't do that. Y'all gotta keep it fair. Like, y'all gotta the same standards y'all give Lamar, y'all gotta give him. If he's not winning, y'all gotta give him the same.
How is that him if his defense can't stop running games? Like it was atrocious last year. They could not stop the run. I think the Cowboys had their best running game as a football team against the Chargers. I mean, you can't put that on Herbert. So
the Ravens defense couldn't stop the pass, but Lamar was 8-3. We can. They have a
better defense, though. You got to look at that now. The Ravens have one of the best defenses.
Always have one of the best
defenses in the league. Last year, the whole team was hurt on defense.
That's what I'm saying, and he was still 8-3. So again, that's an excuse that y'all trying to give Herbert, but y'all don't give Lamar. He had half a team and was number 1 in the league.
My thing is, why is Herbert getting the see? And that's okay. And this is where I'm at. Where everybody else is on Herbert, I'm on the coach. That's where I'm at. Because I saw more errors on the coaching side than I saw on Herbert's side.
And my whole thing is
he threw for 38 touchdowns and only 15 picks. And for 5,000 yards. How is that? How is the fact that they didn't make it to the playoffs on him?
I'm not saying Herbert's bad. But what I'm saying is a lot of people give Herbert those excuses, but they don't give them to, like I said, my guy. Like you say, he's a top 5 quarterback last year already, which I totally disagree with.
His numbers had him at top 5. I didn't put him at top 5. He had top 5 numbers. Like if you go to the numbers and you go to the charts, Herbert is like number 3.
What was that year? Was that 2 years ago or last year when Dak was like top 5 in passing and nobody thought he was top 5
quarterback? Last year too, he was top 5, I think.
No, it wasn't last year. He got hurt last year. Excuse me. It wasn't. Oh no. I'm tripping. I'm thinking of 2 years ago. Yeah, it was a year where Dak was like number 1 in passing. So again, like some of those numbers, like Joe said, they get fluffed up because of like high scoring games or sometimes garbage time stats. You just throwing the ball, trying to hurry up and come back, even though the game's out of reach.
Actually, I got to correct you a little bit on that. I watched those garbage times with the Chargers, and if you look at his picks, 15, he's actually not running up touchdowns in those. That's what I'm saying. The game plan for the Chargers when they get in tough spots, their game plan is not good, and that is the coach. He puts them in positions like they're not scoring in garbage time. They're throwing picks in garbage time because while the coach is running his game plan. That's my issue. If the Chargers have the lead, they don't have any issues. But if you look at their running, they don't really run the ball. They Austin Eckler just does everything on the ground. But if he misses a game or two, you can almost say that they can lose because without that running game, now that coach is desperate. So he throws out this ridiculous constant pass. Stop making these quarterbacks throw for damn near 50 attempts in the game. You're gonna kill their arm. It's not baseball.
But my whole point to you is that you said he's top 5. Again, now you say the numbers show he's top 5, but then my argument to that is Dak had top 5, and nobody thinks he's a top 5 quarterback one year.
I don't know why they didn't. I wasn't on the show then.
So look, it's Tom Brady.
I know exactly what year you're talking about because I think that was the year Zeke went off, if I'm not mistaken. Before the year Zeke started crying about his money, Dak was top 5. And he was getting a lot of disrespect, and I never understood that because he had top 5 numbers. He was throwing for over 30-something touchdowns He had over 4,000 passing yards, and he didn't have that many interceptions. Trust me, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, but I don't think he was top 5 that year either. My point
Yes, he
is
was.
saying, and my point in saying is if he's such a top 5 quarterback, then he should be able to get over those humps because guys like my guy who is not
You can say that,
top
but remember,
10,
you gotta look at this. Guys can only throw the ball but so many times, but somebody has to stop the opposing team. Those
But
years
that's why
that
I bring
Dak
up
had
my
those top
team.
5 numbers, those years that Dak had the top 5 numbers, please tell me what that defense for the Cowboys looked like. It was one of the worst passing defenses in the NFL. They were 32. They were 32. They couldn't stop. They couldn't stop leaves from falling off of trees.
Isn't that the year when they made the playoffs and beat the Seahawks?
So look,
I don't think so. No, I think they got put out by the Rams that year.
Hold on.
They got put out by the Rams that year.
After they beat the Seahawks.
They beat the Seahawks that year. But look, Justin Herbert, in that last game. But look, that last game, Justin Herbert, he was 34 from 64 from the field, Matt. He didn't have a great game in that final game. The game they needed to win against a bad Raiders defense. That Raiders defense ain't great.
I know I didn't know because first of all, no, they weren't. They were not bad. And I told you the Raiders were gonna win that game.
But Justin Herbert did not play great last year in that last game. He had a great fourth quarter. I'll give you that. He was converting almost third and longs, fourth and longs.
That's what I'm saying. He showed fight.
The whole game, he didn't play that good.
But he didn't win the game.
Times.
He threw the ball how many times? How many times did he throw the ball?
64.
So whose fault is that? You cannot blame Herbert for that. He's running the plays that are being called. What that tells me is that coach had no other faith in anyone else on the team but that one man. You can't do that, or you're gonna end up with a torn ACL like Joe Burrow.
He threw the ball that much because they were down.
That was the coach's fault. Why didn't you have a better game plan? Why didn't you have a better game plan that did not need your quarterback to throw 64 times? That's ridiculous.
Because they were down and they went to OT. He had to throw the ball that much so they can get back into the game.
Because their defense was what?
Like I said, you bring up the defense though, right? Look.
If they had a good defense, if the Chargers had a defense that could stop the run, do you really think we have any questions about the Chargers not making the playoffs?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think so. No. Because if they can stop that,
use ifs if you think
half of their games were because they could not stop the running game against running teams.
You can't use
look,
that.
Early in the fourth quarter, the Raiders went up 29-14. So you telling me in 3 quarters, this great QB, when your season is on the line, top 5 quarterback, your season is on line, you put up 14 points. That has nothing to do with your defense. When it's just your offense.
But why is it on?
They're not scoring.
It's on the offense, but why is it not on the coach? It's the game plan. You didn't have a good game plan. You got out coached.
When he plays great, you're not giving coach none of the credit. You're giving all to Justin Herbert. But when Justin Herbert plays bad, it's all
like
the coach.
Brady. It's like what they do with Brady.
We can't be doing that because
that's why I said you can't have it both ways.
When I remember almost every game that they lost, Justin Herbert didn't play good.
So why is that not on the coach then? Why is it not on both of them?
We're not saying it's not on the coach, but what we're saying is you can't have it both ways.
But you're putting it on him though. You're saying he should have. All right.
What we're saying is you can't have it both ways. You can't say Herbert is so great, but when he played bad, it's coaching. That's the reason why he played bad. Or when he played bad, it's the defense. That's why he played bad.
I didn't say he was so great. What I said was
he top 5.
He was a top 5 quarterback because his numbers were a top 5 quarterback.
But I disagree. I don't think he was the top 5 QB. And my whole, like I said, my counter argument is you bring up that defense, right? Nobody had Lamar. They had Lamar outside the top 10 to start this year, who was 8-3 with half a football team and number 1 in the AFC. So you bring up they can't stop the run. Lamar defense was shot. The offense shot. And he was still 8-3, but they didn't even have him top 10.
You know why they didn't have him top 10? He didn't have top 10 numbers. He's winning the games, yes. He's winning the games, yes. The defenses, they got scoring big. They're winning 13 to 12. They don't have. It's not like they're putting up 40 points in games. They're not doing that consistently. Half of their scores were low. Half of them they beat the Detroit Lions. What 13 to 12 or something like that.
Why we beat the Lions 1917? Hollywood dropped 3 touchdowns that game. Go look.
Exactly.
That's not Lamar.
That's not Lamar. No, that's not Lamar. That's not Lamar at all. So why are we talking about the passes that Mike Williams stay dropping? Why don't they completely do you if you look at the success, which also pissed me off, and which is why I keep blaming the coach. I hear what y'all saying, but I'm sorry, I can't take it off the coach because when you sit here and take Keenan Allen completely out of your offense and try to run your offense through Mike bum-ass Williams, those are the losses that you're going to get. They were more successful with the offense going through Keenan Allen, and I don't understand why they stopped that. I never understood that.
Mike Williams is a deep threat.
Mike Williams didn't deep threat nothing, though.
Yeah, I think. Let me look.
He had what? He had what?
No, he had a good year. He did disappear at moments when Herbert disappeared. But my whole theory is this: I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. You're saying he's top 5.
Yeah,
if you're gonna say he's top 5, he got to take a lot of responsibility if he's a top 5 quarterback. When the Ravens don't play good, Lamar Jackson get a lion's share of the blame. When I'm not gonna say Tom Brady, that's a different story. When the Packers don't look good, which they never do look good, but when they lose the playoffs, Aaron Rodgers don't get the blame. Not Matt LaFleur, right? When who else the top 5 quarterback? Josh Allen, he be getting killed when they don't play. Early in the season when the Buffalo Bills wasn't looking normal. You said what?
I killed Josh Allen against the Steelers. He
gets killed. Every top 5 quarterback gets killed. Patrick,
I don't know. I didn't kill Josh Allen.
Andy Reid ain't getting no blame when they were struggling. Huh?
You know, I didn't kill Josh Allen last year. I killed the fact that they didn't have a running game at all.
They never
had a running game. But
look, talk about Patrick Mahomes. When they were looking terrible early in the season, was Andy Reid getting the blame? Or was it Patrick Mahomes? It was Patrick Mahomes because he's a top 5.
And you want to know what? And I don't want to jump the gun. And I'm gonna save that for when we get to the Chiefs because I am coming to Patrick Mahomes' defense. Don't worry. I got something for Andy Reid. Don't worry. And I love Andy. I got something coming for that. So don't worry. I'm gonna show you how I come for coaches if I have to come for the coach. That's why they call me Coach Coon.
I just got one more thing to say. If you want to talk about a team who coaching is the reason why they don't have a running game, it's the Bills. Because the Bills actually had a really good running back. They just didn't use him. They just wanted to be the Josh Allen show. Devin Singletary, when he got the ball, was actually effective. They just had to give him the ball.
My problem with Devin Singletary, when I watch that kid run, he can't run between the tackles. He cannot. They need somebody. You know what they need? And I wouldn't be surprised if they hopefully try to trade. I wouldn't be surprised. They need like a Josh Jacobs type guy.
They already drafted.
I'm not because if they did have a Josh Jacobs, a Josh Jacobs, then Singletary could actually go off.
But they drafted James Cook from Georgia.
And I'm wondering if Cook is going to be that type. If he can be, and he ain't got to be a 3-down back. They need somebody to take bulk yards up the gut. That's what they need. They did not have that at all last year. Everything was outside. If you do that to a defense, especially ones with linebackers, that's just you're giving them tackles. That's all you're doing. If you cannot run up the middle, they have a great offensive line. They have a great offensive line.
That can do that though. Zach Moss is a guy that can run between the tackles.
But that's the problem with Zach Moss. He's a little slow and he can't stay healthy. So that was the fumble on that end. It wasn't nothing they can necessarily do. It's like you draft the guy to do what he's supposed to do. That injury kick in or they don't perform it. You know, like what's his name from the Chiefs? You know what I mean? Like it was hilarious.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, I can kind of get what you're saying with the whole coaching thing with Herbert, but if you're gonna have him that high, you putting way too much on the coaching for him to be that high. And I don't even think, even if you didn't have him that high, I don't think it's all necessarily on him. Like I said, the 4th downs you can question them. I don't, but you can. I
don't have any question on no 4th downs. That I don't question. What I question when I watch the Chargers, right? You got to watch what he does. And it's not even just him. There's a few of these younger coaches. And it's that college mentality of the way they did it, and they're bringing it over. When they get behind, they get scared. I don't know what it is, and you can see it in them on the sideline. And the next thing you know, when you look over, they got a 5-spread offense on the field, which that does it, and it don't even convert. It doesn't. It's like it's a waste of a down damn near. And it's like they do it so much in the game that you wasted clock time. You wasted what could have just been a quick catch and carry for 5 yards. Why you running 5 spreads for 5 yards?
Matt, do you think that offense is the reason why Justin Herbert numbers are exploded because they run that?
Huh?
And that's my point.
Do you think that his numbers are inflated because of the style of offense they run?
Thank you, Joe.
Because of the 5 spread?
Yes.
No, what I'm saying is he actually completes less when they run to that problem. Is what I'm saying, because they don't have a consistent way to stay in their game plan. Here's what I mean, right? the Patriots, and I hate to use this for an example, but it's the best one that I can use because I explained it during that Super Bowl, and people looked at me like I was a doggone god of football talking, and I wasn't trying to be that. I was just telling y'all what was going to happen. If you looked at that game when they were down 28-0, I told people this game is nowhere near over, and the Falcons will not win this game. Why? You scored 28 points in 2 quarters. You still left a half of football to Bill Belichick at halftime to adjust everything he needed to do to still win this game, because it only takes, that's what people fail to realize in the sport of football. It only takes one catch. It only takes a 2-minute drive. It only takes a turnover. All you have to do is complete the opportunity. That's all you got to do. Now, does fate fall into that for a little bit? Yeah. But what did Bill Belichick do? He didn't crack under the pressure. They still ran the ball down 28-0. They still ran the football. They still ran short plays. They still ran play action short plays. They didn't just chunk the ball on the 5 spread to try to hurry up and score because they got DeVore and Chase Daniel and
not Brady.
Jamar Chase. What I'm saying is they did not falter from their game plan. What they did was they made adjustments defensively. That's what they did. They made great adjustments defensively, and even when Atlanta still scored, there was still so much time on the clock Atlanta. There's still so much time on the clock. Clock management is more important to football than people actually realize. And when you run that hurry up 5 spread crap because you're trying to hurry up and score, you dismiss clock management. You disrespect the game of owning somebody because you are running the clock. You are playing chess. These new coaches do not play chess on the field. They play scatterball to hurry up and throw something open so somebody fast can run down the field and hopefully score. That's not football. That's flag football. That's college football. This is the NFL. You got to stick to the game plan. You got to have a good game plan. They have a good team. They just never had good game plans, especially in tough games. A lot of those tough games, you can't tell me they couldn't have won if they would have stuck to their game plan. What I'm saying is that coach ran from his game plan every single time. He got out coached in his losses. Same as Freddie Kitchens. Freddie Kitchens, everybody thought was going to be a good coach for the Browns. What happened? That man got out coached so bad, it ran him out. It was absolutely atrocious because he did. He ran away from his game plan. Because did he not do the same thing with Baker and throw the Browns in the 5 spread offense the same way? He did the same thing.
All right. Is that car gets 2 cents in? We're gonna move on to
Mike Williams had. I googled it. Mike Williams had 76 catches for 1,146 yards and 9 touchdowns this year.
9.
Huh?
9.
I just googled it. He had 1,000.
No, I have it written down. I know. I said 9. I have it written down.
Yeah. He had 1,146 yards, and I tried to Google his drops, and the only thing I could find was that he had 3 drops through November.
Oh no, 90. You want to know his drops? He was 91 for 146. He had 146 passes, caught 91 of them.
That don't mean you talking about.
No, you're right. That don't mean drops. Yeah, you got to see which ones he actually touches. That's my problem with Mike Williams is he drops balls.
I mean, a lot of receivers drop balls. CD drop balls. I'm not saying that he drops balls to the level of them. Marquise drop balls. Mark Andrews drop balls. What I'm saying is Williams drop balls on the same premise as Mike.
We gotta move on. Let's move on, y'all. So I know we started late, but we're gonna try to finish on course when we started. All right. So before we get started, we go to the next topic. Like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share with someone that you know person that could come on and watch us live. Use that comment section. We can see all the comments you guys are putting down. We appreciate the communication. Hey, look, also, don't forget to tune in Monday through Friday. We put out a solo video. Right now, we're doing the top 10 NBA players of all time. And next week, we're going to be doing the NFC West panel. All right? So we're going from the best division in the AFC to maybe probably the best division. I don't know. We see how the comments look in the NFC. All right? So let's move on to the Raiders. So I'm gonna start this one off. The Raiders, y'all. All right, y'all. I'm gonna tell you about the Raiders. All right. I got the Raiders winning the division.
Okay.
Not only that, I got Derek Carr winning MVP this year.
Oh, you definitely gotta explain.
Yeah, I got Derek Carr winning MVP this year.
Yeah, I gotta hear this one.
The last time we saw Derek Carr as an MVP candidate, he had a legit number one receiver, Amari Cooper. And then what happened? He had a Carson Wentz year. He got hurt, and then he didn't win MVP. They got bounced. They made a playoff. They got bounced in the first round.
They lost to the Texans.
All right.
Connor Cook, Michigan
This
State guys.
dude last year, he had Henry Ruggs as his deep threat. Henry Ruggs had his incident, got rolled out. John Gruden had his incident, rolled out. In the midst of all of that, Winfro, 1,000 receiving yards, 100 receptions. Waller only played like 11 games. He missed like 5 to 6 games last year, and they still overcame all of that stuff, made a playoffs. And Derek Carr was top 5 in passing yards. And majority of the year, he was leading the league in passing yards. So I think this year with Devontae Adams added to Winfro and Waller, and you still got Jacobs in the background. Y'all remember what Devontae Adams did in college last year with Derek Carr? Had an amazing college year. So I think that Devontae Adams, I don't know about his number stuff, but him and Derek Carr got that connection, that college connection. And then I've been listening to all the interviews, Derek Carr, and they say they talk all the time. Every year they always flirt with the idea of them playing together, and they finally made it happen. So I think Derek Carr is going to have an MVP season, and what's going to put him in the MVP conversation as far as winning it is about winning this division. I think that they're going to split with the Chiefs, sweep the Broncos, and sweep the Chargers this year. So I think they're going to go 5-1 in their division. So they're going to dominate it as far as division wins, and they're going to come in first place by the Chiefs, about outdoing the Chiefs as far as total record. And Derek Carr is going to be the MVP this year. So I also like the Chandler Jones pickup.
I was about to say, you're missing that. That's
next to Crosby, right? So their deep is going to be much better this year, I think. Chandler Jones, we all know how he was with the Arizona Cardinals, and with Crosby, it's a better tag team partner versus what they had in Arizona with J.J. Watt and stuff like that, right? J.J. Watt actually had a good year to me until he got hurt. His numbers probably didn't show it, but I thought he had a good year. But so Derek Carr, put this in your look, mark it, put it somewhere. I'm probably the first one that said this to y'all. All right,
you are.
He's going to win MVP next year, and the Raiders are going to win this division. I don't know about number 1 seed, but they will win the AFC West. Go ahead, one of y'all, anyone y'all.
All right, so I got, as y'all know, as I said before, I got them number 2 in the division. And I think that's because obviously Devontae Adams is a way much upgrade than Henry Ruggs. And to piggyback on what Joe said, they weren't teammates in college. They were roommates in college. So yeah.
Brothers.
So, yeah, this is like as good as chemistry as you're gonna get. So
that's
a great pickup. I like the Rocky Sin pickup from the Colts. I think that was a solid corner pickup. That I think that was involved. No. That was like probably the same week of the Chandler Jones trade, if not pickup, if not the next week. I like that one. My thing is Trayvon Moorwig, this rookie, or now second-year safety out of TCU. He gets another year under his belt. He gets more experience. Jonathan Abrams has to stay healthy. Because a lot of people might just say Jonathan Abrams played reckless. I think he plays smart. It just looks reckless.
He's very fast for safety. I don't think people pay attention to that.
Yeah, I really love Jonathan Abrams' game a lot. I think
he might need to move the linebacker. He might need to move the linebacker.
I don't think he needs to move the linebacker because I think
roll him. They need to roll him inside like they did Palomalu.
I think the thing that is underrated about Jonathan Abrams is he sets players up in position. Like if you really look, he calls out some stuff when he's in the safety. He's really
he's a commander. Yeah.
I like the fact Denzel Perryman, like I said last year, Joe, he was with the coach that he had his really good season with the Chargers. He has another year with that coach. Hunter Renfrow, I love Hunter Renfrow, and I hate Clemson players. I hate Clemson. As y'all know, I'm a Michigan State fan, but I also got accepted to grad school in South Carolina, so I'm a South Carolina fan as well. Hate Clemson, but it's like 5 players in Clemson I really like. Hunter Renfrow is one of them. Deshaun Watson's obviously another one. Besides, the off the field. On the field, I love Deshaun Watson. Not off the field stuff is, up in the air. So anyway, Hunter Renfrow, 1,000 yards. He's sneaky. He's actually like deceptively fast. Like he's kind of like a Jordy Nelson kind of.
That's why Ramsey didn't like that comment.
That's a perfect example, though. Go ahead.
That's why Ramsey didn't like that comment.
Yeah, Hunter Renfrow,
he's fast.
Really good. He knows how to get open. He wins third downs. He knows how to get open in the red zone and score touchdowns. like you said, Darren Waller. Hopefully, he plays more games. Joe, I'll send you the tweet. I remember when the Ravens drafted him in the 6th round out of Georgia Tech. I said that was a steal. I send you the tweet, Joe. But so I love Darren Waller. I remember watching him at Georgia Tech with DeAndre Smelson, Justin Thomas. He played receiver actually at Georgia Tech. That's why he's so good at tight end, because he's big. He's actually really quick, and he knows how to run routes. Another name that I feel like that you didn't say was Kenyan Drake, who can catch the ball out the backfield. That's another, he can spell Josh Jacobs catch the ball.
He was hurt last year, right?
Jacobs was hurt.
Jacobs got hurt. I don't know if Kenyan Drake got hurt too, but I know Josh Jacobs was hurt.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs was hurt for a bit, and Kenyan Drake kind of filled the role, and he did pretty well. I don't think he had like a big. He didn't need to have a big. Because they were doing pretty well without the running game in the beginning.
And people forget Kenyan Drake before he got to the Raiders was having monster games with the Cardinals before he left there. So again, another team in the AFC West that got better, but the chemistry part with me is like Joe was saying. I think all those things have brought the team together, so the chemistry is there with them. They can push the Chiefs for first place in that division. I could see that. But as I'll discuss in depth, I just don't bet against Mahomes and Andy Reid. So,
hey, real quick. Also, I forgot to mention Josh McDaniels, right? I think that's an underrated coaching move. Y'all remember, man, with the Broncos? I know he had a
9-7 with the Broncos.
But he started off real good, though. And I listened to a lot of his interviews too. He said that he didn't know how to lead, man. Like, it was kind of like my way or the highway type deal. He knows football. Yeah, but he didn't earn that. You feel me? But it's like that's an organization, the Patriots. All right. So like Josh McDaniels said, I know football, I know all that. It's just a part of the locker room. And then he said he learned his lesson. But even if he didn't learn his lesson, but I think he did, he should have. He got veterans in the locker room now. You feel me? He got a bunch of veterans in there. Devontae Adams, Derek Carr. You know what I mean? So. That's not going to be a big issue. I think him being the brains behind that offense, I think that's going to be another reason why they're going to explode this year.
I want to piggyback off that because I forgot they got Josh McDaniels. I don't know if y'all watched was it I Am Athlete when they had DJ Williams on there, and him and Brandon Marshall was talking about how they started off 4-0 and how Josh McDaniels would literally tell DJ Williams what was going to happen while they was watching film, and then on game day what Josh McDaniels did happened, and that's how they would win the games. If you relay those messages to like Jonathan Abrams and Denzel Perryman, Chandler Jones, when you see this formation, this is a pass, or they might run your way, get off the blights coming right to you. If you really relay those messages, it's going to be dangerous.
People don't pay attention. The man got a photogenic memory when it comes to football. I don't know how he does it. I do it a little bit, but I'm nowhere near the caliber he is. But I remember even doing that. That's a story from another time. But I remember doing that in one of my Little League games. And I pretty much guided from a punt all the way to us scoring to winning a playoff game. Using the clock, by the way. But when I look at the Raiders, I don't remember if you remember, Joe, I forgot what move was made. I think it was the Russell Wilson move. That was the one that was made. And I immediately dropped the Raiders to last place. And it was just because Tyreek Hill was still with the Chiefs. Chargers, they got Herbert, and they should be moving up with more weapons. And, if they make some good moves for this year. So I automatically had Raiders in last place, unfortunately, because I just didn't feel there was enough powerhouse. Then that trade for Devontae Adams happened. And I immediately they shot up so high. I mean, you got Josh McDaniels, like you all say, he's a mastermind when it comes to offense. And I really need people to stop disrespecting Derek Carr. That man has always played nothing but the most proficient football you have ever. I mean, he was borderline on his brother's caliber. His brother just played for a trash ass team and was never able to display what was really out there. Number two, Michael Vick in Russia, where people didn't pay attention to his brother. But anyway,
hey Matt, real quick, Derek Carr statistically is one of the most clutchest quarterback in NFL too. By the way,
I love
68. By the way, more completion percentages than Herbert, 68%. 68% for Derek Carr, and that is actually his average. People disrespect this kid so much, and he does nothing but try to go out here and play great football. He has never had great opportunities. He has those few, and I get what they're saying. But I mean, if you look at the turnover rate for everything that he throughout his career with the Raiders, he stayed there. He stayed there because he wants to win his organization a doggone championship that they deserve. Tom Brady, if y'all don't pay attention, he broke the curse. He broke the curse. The Raiders do not have a curse. Okay? Could the Raiders go to the Super Bowl this year? As long as Derek Carr does not win MVP, because I do have Russell Wilson winning MVP. Because the AFC is going to be stacked this year. The entire AFC conference is going to be stacked. So I do have the Raiders quite possibly in the playoffs, with even sitting at number 2 because 12-5. And mind you, when I do my predictions, I never take away a home or like a home loss, and I give away losses. I mean, I never take away home wins, and I give them losses when they're away when it's division, only because it's paper. I'm just breaking even unless the team is just really trash. So those numbers will always be able to fluctuate when I do my predictions. But I got him 12-5 at number 2. I don't have him winning MVP, but I do have him in the conversation for MVP. Because I think the MVP is either going to Josh Allen or Russell Wilson.
All right. Any pushback, or we can move to the Chiefs?
No, I think we pretty much agree on the Raiders.
All right, cool. Yeah, like I said.
I did have one thing.
Uh-huh.
The other reason why that 12-5 is going to stick, they got 3 players. 3. All them first-round draft picks, none of them got their options picked up. So they all have to ball this year. And unfortunately for some people, that's a great incentive. That's just, it's just a great incentive. Like, I would predict Josh Jacobs could actually run for 1,200 yards this year.
Is the last one Colin? Was it not Colin Farrell?
Yeah, it's Colin. It's Colin. It's Colin. That defensive end. He got a ball this year. All 3 of them. None of them got their options picked up. Now, again, if they don't play, that just means they're gone. But if they have to ball out this year. So that's, for me, for that team, that's they need that energy. The Raiders need every ounce of energy they can get.
All right, let's get it. So the Raiders, all right, MVP Derek Carr, number 1 AFC West. Remember that, y'all. All right, so let's go to Carr's number 1 team. Let's go to the Chiefs. So Mac got the Broncos, I got the Raiders, Carr got the Chiefs. So I want to hear what Carr got to say why he got the Chiefs at number 1. Then Matt, I want to hear what you guys say about Mahomes, and then I'm gonna close this out. All right. So go ahead.
I'm just short simple. I just don't bet against Mahomes and Andy Reid. As y'all see, they get real creative on offense. Y'all saw in the playoffs against the Bills, the money was on the line. You see how creative they got. They run that, and I ain't gonna lie. In the red zone, they run that same shovel pass, and for some reason, it works 100% of the time.
Because the weapon,
they run that. Well, Tyreek's not there no more. They ran that same speed out to Tyreek Hill, and it works every single time. I think it worked with Chase Daniel. They ran that speed out with Tyreek, and it worked.
I remember that play. I saw it, when Chase had to play. I forgot what team.
Get the Browns.
It was a prime time game too, like a Thursday night or a Sunday night.
It was a midday. It was a midday.
Was it?
It was against the Browns. It was midday.
The Browns, yeah.
Oh no, I'm thinking another year with that other dude that has back.
Yeah, it was 4. They run it, so they got money plays. Then you mix the creativity with money plays. And look, I know people saying Tyreek gone. What is Mahomes gonna do? It's just Kelsey. I don't think that he'll be. I don't think it'll be that bad. They picked up Marquise. Is it Marquise or Mark? Whatever. Valdez-Scantling from the Packers.
And Juju.
I really like Sky Moore from out of Western Michigan. I know a lot of people don't watch Max and Tuesdays, but guess who does? I do. I watch Max and Tuesdays, Max and Wednesdays. I watch any college football you feed me. And Sky Moore he stood out no matter who he played against. He just stood out to me. I think he's another short guy who can work the short to intermediate game. Sky Moore can get open, point blank period. That's what I've learned from watching him play at Western Michigan. He gets open. I don't think Juju will be the number 1 receiver. I think we all seen what happens when he is. His production goes down. They'll probably run Juju second or in the slot, something like that. I've actually been hearing I've seen something that said Marquise Valdez-Scantling was doing well in training camp. Like he actually looked good. Now McCole Hartman, that's a question mark. We gotta see it. I don't know if they mortgaged McCole Hartman being a Tyreek Hill. I doubt it. But if he can be half to 75% of that, you'll take it. Because to me, to be honest, their number 1 receiver isn't a receiver. It's Travis Kelce. That's the number 1 receiver. Anybody, even the number 1 receiver on paper on the Chiefs is the number 2 receiver. So is Travis Kelce is going to give you what he gives you. That's your consistent. That's your number one. He might even draw a double team. So players like Juju, Marquise, Scott Moore can get one-on-ones. Then you come up with a creative scheme like Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. You know, he can do amazing things. I saw, even though he lost against the Buccaneers in that Super Bowl, it wasn't Mahomes. Mahomes was running 10 yards back, throwing off his back foot, hitting players on the money, and players dropping the ball. Or, you know, he got 2 seconds to throw the ball because his tackles was hurt. Yeah, Mahomes' magic is real. So I never discredit Mahomes. And like I said last year, everybody counted out the Chiefs. Oh, the Chiefs was like, what, 3-3, 2-3? Oh, the Chiefs ain't going to win the division. Oh, everybody figured out the Chiefs. Did they go winning in the division? Did they go showing up in the AFC Championship game again? Now, defensively, this question marks. They did get Lonnie Johnson, who I really like. They did get Justin Reed, who I really like. Now, letting go Tyrann Mathieu to me was especially when he wanted to be there, that was a mistake in my opinion. D Ford, I think, resigns. They got another. Oh, no. Didn't they get another DN? And I'm just forgetting. I gotta look at the depth chart. And when I look at the depth chart, I'm gonna see it. But I believe D Ford resigns. They got Chris Jones in the middle. Nick Bolton had a hell of a year at linebacker. The second year, I think, played now out of Mizzou. They got pieces. So, again, I'm not betting against them. Jerick McKinnon's probably going to have a whole year now. Andy Reid, Jerick McKinnon, you throw that creativity, his versatility back there. I just got the Chiefs number one.
Oh, yeah, and they also got the dude from the Bucs, too, the running back.
Ronald Jones.
Oh, Ronald Jones?
Yeah, I'm not saying he's a big factor, but, you know.
Oh, okay.
That's good for the depth for the running back position.
Okay.
Yes, they got Gore, right? Yes, they got Gore. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
Why did the Chiefs win the Super Bowl?
Why did they or why didn't they?
No, why did they? Why did the Chiefs win the Super Bowl?
Are you putting on that Tyreek Hill play?
Are you talking about when they ran that Wasp?
Why did the Chiefs win the Super Bowl?
Because they got Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
Try to go with this, but
don't say Tyreek Hill that play.
I'm not talking about the play itself. I mean, the play itself is the play itself. If they don't have Tyreek Hill at all, they're not going to the Super Bowl that year, period. I don't give a damn what Patrick Mahomes is.
Listen, who won last year?
He had all of his weapons. He had all of his weapons the year that he
had
won.
They had Cooper Kupp. Were they making the Super Bowl?
Huh? They didn't have
They had Cooper Kupp. Were they making the Super Bowl? No.
Who?
You can't just do that. You can't just take the best receiver off a Super Bowl team and say they would never made it. They didn't have them. That's almost any Super Bowl team,
bro.
I don't
know if you. I watch every game, every single game, and when I watched that year in that Super Bowl one, Patrick Mahomes was one of the most unpredictable quarterbacks. Why? Because technically it was his second year, but to the league it was his first, right? So. Is that the year he won? Did he win the second year? Like his third year?
That was his second.
So was that his third year?
His first year he lost to the Patriots.
Yeah, that was his third year, second, fourth season.
And excuse me, because I said D4, which was incorrect. I was thinking of Frank Clark, Michigan guy.
So now they still didn't have the best defense when they won the Super Bowl. I think they won. I think they were like bottom 30, if not in the bottom 20.
They weren't good, but they stepped it up in the playoffs.
But here's what I mean by Tyreek Hill. And so maybe when I explain it this way, you'll understand what I mean. Chiefs under Andy Reid have outside of the Eagles, have never really had a great defense. Chiefs in Kansas City have never had a great defense, ever. What Andy Reid has always had is a good running back, but what always happens? They never stay healthy. And it always craps out at that point of the season because that's what they relied on because they never really had a good quarterback and they really didn't have like receivers like that.
Don't disrespect.
So their seasons crapped out when that running game was gone. Like when their running backs tore something because they are heavily used in the Andy Reid offense. They start off hot, their running back get hurt, and it's downhill from there. They go through running backs. They go through them.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt was different though.
They had, I think, 2 good ones the year that they won the Super Bowl. But the other thing that they had was Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Why is that so proficient? Because last year I came out and said, and this is last, I'm not talking about Super Bowl year. I'm banking it off of that going into last year's. To beat the Chiefs, you had to put up more than 5 touchdowns. Why do I say that? Because the Chiefs don't have a great defense. They never really have a great defense. But what they have are 2 people that are very hard to touch because of one who is, oh my God, he's so fast. And it opens up so many of those Patrick Mahomes magic plays that they're putting up 5+ touchdowns every single game. That's not happening this year. That is not happening this year at all because Juju is not Tyreek Hill. Miko Hartman is not Tyreek Hill. The rookie is not Tyreek Hill. I'm not saying Tyreek Hill is the best receiver in the NFL because a lot of times I told you all the way Patrick Mahomes throws that beautiful strong arm and Tyreek Hill's speed, if you look at some of those catches, it popped right off Tyreek Hill's hands. A lot of that is because of his height. So it's the way he has to try to catch it and cradle it. Sometimes if his hands go up first because of his height, they pop right off. It's unfortunate on some of them. But he has so much more successful plays. You don't really see that. They're still putting up 7 touchdowns between just the team, not Pat. He ain't got 7. The team itself got 7, 8 touchdowns. But that's because Patrick Mahomes probably put up 4 or 5. Defense put up 2, 3 off with turnovers. You can't beat them defensively when they had that offense. You had to literally match them offense for offense. And if you couldn't do that, you were not beating the Chiefs. I was never saying they were winning games because their defense was going to come out and do something. I said Chiefs are winning games because if you can't put up more than 5 touchdowns, you will not beat the Chiefs, period. It is because of the weaponry that they had with Patrick Mahomes. They're not doing that this year. Now they have to rely on that defense, and that's not happening. And that's why I have them only winning 10 games this year. And that's why I have them in 4th place this year in their division. Now, I'm not saying if everybody else crap out, they could be 4th place and still make the playoffs. And another thing we got to look at the way these win-losses work for this year, pay attention to what the NFL did. They made every single Week 18 game a division game.
They've been doing that for the past couple of years now.
I didn't see that last year.
It was. That's why the Chiefs. That's why the Chargers and Raiders played each other. That's why we played the Steelers.
Not every team was a division game last year.
Colts played the Jags. The Titans played.
Yeah, in the season, yeah, it is. But look,
they've been doing that for the past couple of years.
But Matt, I know you're talking about the defense. I remember they got blown out by the Titans, and then they played the Giants, and ever since that Giants game, their defense stepped up second half of the season.
I was gonna bring that up
because I will never forget. I think they held the Raiders twice into single digits, and I think Raiders scored 8 points one time, 14 another time. They held the Packers to 7 points. You know, A-Rod didn't play. They held the Cowboys to like 9 points. They held who was they beat? I should look at the schedule. They
I was gonna bring that up, Joe.
The Broncos scored under 10 points. Like every team they played, I don't think nobody scored more than 15 points in the second half of the season after they beat the Giants. So they defense stepped up.
They stepped up, and they did step up. But I'm just saying when the season began, my premise was basically to beat. So my ranking for them last year was basically you had to score more than them to win. I wasn't coming out week 1, the first half of the season, talk about no Chiefs defense. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, later in the season, and that's anybody. Later in the season, you can chase the course of the narrative of your team, and that's beautiful when they do that. But I'm just saying, from the beginning, I didn't come at it as the Chiefs defense is going to come out and do. I'm like, look, you're going to beat the Chiefs, you got to put up more than 5 touchdowns to win. It's not going to happen if you can't do that because they're going to put up. Now, mind you, this is before, because remember, they didn't even come out scoring the way I said they were going to score. They were actually losing and turning the ball over because I didn't see none of that coming last year.
You know what? I'm not my bad. I forgot Jamar Chase killed them in the second half.
Oh yeah! Oh my God! 200-something yards.
Yeah, Jamar Chase killed them. The Chargers, they beat the Chargers, but they did score like 24 points, and the Broncos scored 24, I think, the last game of the season. So, but they did step up though.
Yeah, that's why I brought up the young pieces they had because, like I said, Nick Bolton played phenomenal at that middle linebacker spot. They got L'Jarius Sneed, who I really like, Sunbelt corner, lengthy corner.
They have no running game.
Nah,
Chiefs have no running
but
game.
it picked up when they inserted Jerry McKinnon, which is why I brought him up, because Andy Reid got creative, got ways for Jerry McKinnon to get alleys and ways to get in the end zone and stuff like that. That's why I bring up Jerry McKinnon. And again, I bring up the young guys because I think Justin Reid is talented and he's very young. I don't know if because I personally think Tyrann Mathieu is the best safety in the league, so I wouldn't say he is Tyrann Mathieu, just younger. But he can be the caliber of Tyrann Mathieu, and he's way younger. You got to remember, Justin Reid is also Eric Reid's little brother. But besides all that, I watched Justin Reid play a lot, and he was one of those bright spots out of the Texans defense for the past couple of years.
He was.
And I bring up the young guys like Willie Gay, another linebacker who showed flashes. You got Chris Jones. I don't think Chris Jones is as young, but everybody knows he's one of the dominant forces in the middle.
He was last year.
Oh, and to correct you, Juju actually might be the number one. But see, you say number one wide receiver. I don't use that term anymore. I use the term target because they can put him in the slot.
That's what I said.
Because of where everybody else is going to be, because of his size, because Juju big. I know. So okay, I'm gonna tell you where the Pittsburgh Steelers went wrong with Juju. And yes, they went to that number one receiver mind frame, and I think that's what was wrong. What they should have done is made him the number one target, not the number one receiver. Huh?
They should have kept Juju in the slot. But
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. What they did was they moved him over to the one receiver spot. They shouldn't have did that. You should have left him in the slot and made him your number one target. He will get open all the time, and that's what he's going to do for Mahomes. The only thing Mahomes won't have with this new team is the Tyreek Hill speed down the field. That's why I'm taking away the fact that of using that terminology of you got to put up more than 5 touchdowns to beat the Chiefs. Can't use that this year. You don't have Tyreek Hill and that type of speed down the field anymore. So you actually have to play some football, run the football, and rely on the defense this year. And for 7 games, I don't see that defense helping out too well.
Yeah, but to my point where I said Juju wasn't going to be number one, I also said that he can be number one on paper. Their number one receiver is Travis Kelce.
He's going to be number one. I'm telling you, Miko Hartman, I'm going to tell you what the problem is. But you're not listening to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it don't matter who they write on paper as the number one receiver. The number one receiver is Travis Kelce. So on paper, he might be wide receiver number one. But we all know wide receiver number one is that tight end. That's what I'm saying. Oh no, I know what you mean. I that's why I use the terminology target. But that's what I'm saying. It still can shift over to Juju because think about it this way: the only thing being taken away is Tyreek Hill's speed, right? But Juju is strong with height, so you're moving the same. You're moving another receiver in the open field with size, so you're completing more passes actually than you would have with a Tyreek Hill type, because some of those open passes, what Tyreek Hill do, he'll sit and he'll break out and go. So that just gives another option for Mahomes to stay moving and fling it down the field. He ain't gonna be able to do that with Juju no more. But what Juju will be able to do is sit on those routes, complete those third downs. You see what I'm saying? Because they don't have a really good third down percentage outside of Mahomes running on third down. They don't really throw it on third down.
And to my point with the whole where I started is like Kevo said, I said that Andy Reid and Mahomes is going to be more schematic. They already show creativity. Now they'll just probably scheme up more efficiency as opposed to, all right, let's look for Tyreek Hill if the play breaks down. Now they'll show, okay, look, you got this, and this on this play right here. This not here, go here. I mean, obviously he ain't got to tell Mahomes what to do. Mahomes is smart enough to, make the reads himself.
But that's the thing. It's not Andy Reid. It's Eric Berry.
Eric Bieniemy, and that's another. But those are two great offensive minds, right? Because Andy Reid, I mean, look, obviously support my brothers. Eric Bieniemy is a.
Isn't Andy Reid's mind? Andy Reid been in the NFL a long time. He got 1 Super Bowl. I'm not saying he's supposed to have multiple, but he don't have that many. He don't have that many. He don't have that many playoff appearances. He don't have that many playoff appearances, and he don't have that many winning seasons.
Nah, he had like 4 straight championship games with the
Eagles. You think I had many winning seasons?
I mean, I'm sorry. I forgot he went 4. I forgot It's the I'm
No, but you
I'm
still tripping
talking
because
Chiefs.
with
I'm
Alex
talking
Smith,
Chiefs,
they would
not
make the
Eagles.
playoffs
And
consistently.
I
They
keep
would just lose.
leaving out the Eagles. I keep leaving out the Eagles.
No, but
franchise.
even with the
Even
Chiefs, with
since he's
Alex
been in the
Smith,
Chiefs, they've been
Alex
winning.
Smith would make the playoffs. He just wouldn't go to the Super Bowl. He lost to the Titans when Marcus Peters almost stripped their
Yeah, because then they get put out like what first round every year. They weren't going to any
those are
championship
still winning
games
seasons.
with Alex Smith.
But I'm saying those are still winning seasons. And again, Andy Reid, for like you said, never had a good quarterback. I mean, Alex Smith to take them to the playoffs like every year.
He was a game manager. He was a game manager.
That's his point.
And that's
But that's
fine.
what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is his own Super Bowl. His own
Super
Super Bowl came from a guy who's not a game manager. Think about that. It ain't the Andy Reid offense. It ain't the Andy Reid. He's had all these years of coaching with only what 2 Super Bowl appearances?
3. Yeah,
because I know one was against the Patriots.
2 with the Chiefs, 1 with the Eagles.
2 with the who? 2 with the Chiefs, 1 with the Eagles. Right? Yeah, 2 with the Chiefs, 1 with the Eagles.
Again,
He went like 5 years straight. I think 4 years straight.
4 years straight going to the championship game. But again, you say he had a horrible quarterback play, but to have that resume with horrible quarterback play,
yeah, and that's true. That's true. That's very true. That's very true. And the only quarterback play came bad after McNabb. It wasn't, it wasn't a stretch. It's just, to me, his success is because of Patrick Mahomes.
But
when it comes to that, I'm not really not trying to take away. I'm really not trying to take away success. I'm not trying to take away from him, but it's like he has his way. He has his Andy Reid way, and it gets in the way.
But you can say that Mahomes got him over the hump. You can't say Mahomes is the reason for his success.
No, I'm not. I think I used the wrong word. Not the reason for his success.
I would agree with that. Mahomes got him over because Andy's been there. He's been there.
He's been there, but he's never been there.
Go to the Patriots. To me, I put that on McNabb. McNabb, he threw some time.
Yeah. And I never blame Andy for those. You're right.
If McNabb didn't run T.O. out of Philly,
exactly.
There was that too.
All right, y'all. We're gonna have to wrap this up, y'all. We've been on for 1 hour and 27 minutes. All right, we went on for a while. Good conversation. That's when you know you're having a good conversation. So we're gonna get y'all last words real quick before we do that. Hey, y'all, everybody that's still on, like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share this video with somebody you guys know personally. When this video is over, when this live is over, you can go back on YouTube and watch it. And we're gonna break up each team's video too. So if you don't want to watch the whole video, you're gonna just go straight to this specific team we actually talked about. All right. So, and thank you guys. And also, like I said, we're doing the top 10 NBA players of all time. Monday through Friday, I'm putting out a video each day. And then next week, we're doing the NFC West division. All right. And we're going to get some actual fans from the division to come on. All right. So, before we go, Carl, last words.
All right. Well, as always, appreciate you for having me on the show. I think we had a good show. My boy going to win MVP, dog. Y'all talking about y'all 2 MVP picks. My dog been hearing all the noise. All this, Lamar ain't top 10. All y'all doing is feeding the fire. My man about to win MVP. MVP season number 2 coming soon.
Okay, let's get it. And Matt, I want you to talk about your podcast also.
So I'm waiting on training camp for season 2 of the podcast to start because I don't want to do anything just yet. It's still too early, but soon as training camp starts, I want to say that same week I will open up my podcast for season 2. And have weekly shows each week out. Basically, that's when my season starts. My last words before I go, Jameis Winston. I mean, hey, stay off cameras. Stay away from anywhere that somebody got a camera in your face because I don't know why you running through the tackle dummy and then you sitting there looking like a dummy. And I got to sit here and have this dang on conversation because you out here looking like a fool for these Saints who are not going to be good this year.
That was before this year. That video's old.
Oh, it is? Okay. That
video's
old. Well, then what? Well, the one that ain't old is him throwing a pick to Tyreek Hill in that fan league. That ain't old.
It's just.
That's what. It's just. It's the fact that every time you see him, it's something like that. You know what I mean? It's just. I just wish there was a better narrative for the dude.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, but that video's old though. That video, that's old.
All right, cool. All right, y'all. So thank y'all for staying on. And guess what? We'll see y'all at the next episode. Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.